Hey everyone, it's Kristen Williams with the Williams team, Austin. Happy Friday. Just here sharing with you. This week, I'm going to share a little bit more of a national perspective. We had our Keller Williams family reunion event, and Gary Keller, owner of Keller Williams, presented on just the state of the economy and housing and a lot of the things that are all tied to that. So I figured I would share from a more national perspective what is kind of going on. So we talked a lot about, housing sales. So we are, as a national country, our housing sales are down, which means that fewer pieces of real estate are being sold. Fewer buyers and fewer sellers are entering the real estate market. We were at a record high from a real estate sales perspective 2 years ago, and then now we're down about like a 1.5 million sales. So it's a significant decline in the number of people buying and selling real estate right now, impacted mostly by the Fed raising the interest rates. That was the whole point, is they wanted to raise rates to, curb inflation and bring that inflation number down. And that interest rate increase has really impacted how many sales we're having. Yet the interesting thing is that, as we have had fewer sales, our volume of real estate sales is still high. It's on last year was our second highest year ever. Year before was our second highest year in volume, or was our first highest year in volume, because we've had appreciation. So the one thing he reflected back and he said, okay, when we appreciated a lot before the Great Recession in 2006, 7, and 8, before that decline, we were overvalued. Like if we're looking at the 4% trend line over like appreciation year over year, the 4% trend line had a inflated value of around 21% for real estate values in the country. This past recession, where we had this big increase in values, we're only 12% above that trend line. So we really didn't have the big increase in prices. It felt like we had a big increase in prices, and in Austin, Texas, we definitely did. But from a country perspective, we were down in value so much. We lost so much value in housing across the country during the Great Recession that we had a lot to build and come back from. And now in Austin, we didn't lose that much value when we gained these higher prices. That really did hurt us. So our values from a country perspective were down even more than like on the national scale. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Yet paying attention to inventory, that's a really important stat to take a look at. So when we, again, comparing the Great Recession to where we are now, in the Great Recession, we had an increase of so much inventory. We had so much inventory on the market at the time. And now we're about 2 million houses fewer for sale and available to buy at this point. So we just, from a country perspective, we're still in a very low inventory market. So what Gary is saying is that as soon as interest rates start to ease up, we're probably going to see an increase in people buying and an increase in prices again, because we're just at a low supply and we still have a demand for housing. People still want to own homes. It's just that they're waiting and delaying for interest rate perspectives. But that said, there's so many opportunities. So I would say if it's a good time for you to buy from your own personal family perspective, like don't wait for rates to come down, because that's when things are going to get busy again. That's when probably bidding wars and the prices are going to start going up. So, my perspective is if it's the right time for you, buy a house now while values are lower and there's less competition, and then just refinance that rate at some point. We have so many different mortgage options, from a buy down, 1-2 buy down, or rate buy downs. There's so many different options that you can take advantage of right now. There's a lot of negotiation room. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. It was a really great to hear from an economic perspective and from a national perspective versus local perspective, what we're feeling. So anyhow, happy to answer any questions you have about what's going on. Have a wonderful Friday, and we'll talk to you next Friday with another weekly update. Bye.